Hey there, it's Marlene. In this video, I'm going to be introducing you to the Godox iT32 on-camera flash, which can easily be taken off camera, and you don't need any extra gear to shoot off camera with this flash because the transmitter stays on the camera and it's magnetic and it works super great, especially if you're working in small spaces. I've taken a bunch of portraits with this setup, and I'll show you those right now, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the flash. Now, a little while ago, I actually also reviewed the iT30 Pro mini flash from Godox, and they're both similar in the fact that they are simpler to use than the old Godox flashes of days gone by, and I do have one of those as well, and I also have a Lumix speedlight. And I don't enjoy speedlight photography, not gonna lie. But these flashes, these small flashes that are simpler to use, have kind of allowed me to get back into shooting with flash. So what's in the box? Well, you get your iT32 flash, you have the diffuser, you have a half CTO and 1/1 CTO. The CTO gels are magnetic, so they snap on, and you can also buy optional colored gels to go on this flash. You have the magnetic base, you have the storage bag, and the USB-C charging cord. You will have to purchase the correct wireless trigger for your camera. So in my case, I've got the X5O, and that's for Olympus and Panasonic. So it supports Canon, Fuji, Nikon, and Sony as well. Now, I really love using LED lights for photos and video. Of course, all the videos that you see of me here on Talking Heads, indoors, I'm using LED lights, and I typically like them with softboxes because, you know, I'm a woman of a certain age at this point, and I don't want super harsh lighting. Who does anyway? But getting back to the point, LED I love for photos and videos, but it's not always suitable. What if you're outdoors and your LED can't overpower the sun, like if you want to use it for fill or you want to use it for action? But when you need a lot of light outdoors, you would use strobe. And these lights are actually powerful enough to use as fill lights outdoors. Now, you wouldn't light up a huge space with these lights. They're pretty small, but they do the trick in tight quarters or with a close-up portrait and things like that. And just a quick note, Godox did send me the iT32 to test out, but this is not a sponsored video. I just get to test it, and I do a trade my video for their flash. Okay, this is Janet. She's my model. I'm gonna do a direct shot and show you what it's like. Okay, and look at me, great. Good. Now this is a TTL flash at full power. Setup number 2 is with this diffuser on top of the flash. Tip your head a little and do a little cute little, there we go. And this shot uses the catch light card. Perfect. And you can see that it's a bit darker at the bottom of the image. I'm gonna put it straight ahead and see what it goes. Now, I want a little hand near your face a little bit. Yeah, oh, cute. Okay, look at the camera lens. So now I'm going to take it off the camera. Nice. Let's see how those look. Thank you, Jeanette. Which is your favorite lighting? Now, granted, these all look like they were taken fairly close to the subject with a flash. The next series I'm going to show you uses a mixture of window light and flash, and then I'll show you some outdoor photos using high-speed sync. One of the unique and handy features of this flash is if you want to use it off camera, you can quickly take it off and the transmitter stays on the camera. And if you don't want to hand hold it, you can actually put it on the base that it ships with. And the base is also magnetic, and you just pop it on here and you can move the whole flash around wherever you need it. Maybe you want it on the side of your subject or above, and you can place it wherever you want. You could attach this directly to your light stand or attach a tripod head plate to the base of this and put it onto a tripod or a light stand that way. So there's a couple of different ways to attach it. Okay, let's have a look at the menus on the iT32. Turn it on, you hit this button down at the bottom and you scroll up. And you can see right now that I'm in TTL mode. But to change the mode, you swipe down and you touch this area and you can go TTL, manual, or multi. And multi is for stroboscopic effects. So I'm going to leave it in TTL for now. If you want to use high-speed sync, you push this setting here, and high-speed sync is when you want to use a shutter speed that is faster than the standard sync speed of your camera. And in the case of the Lumix S1 Mark II, it is 1/250th of a second. If I want to shoot outdoors with a fast shutter speed, I use high-speed sync, which I did on some of the photos of Jane against that beautiful red wall. And this is the modeling light. So if you turn that on, you get a modeling light. So that would light up your scene. You can see here it made quite a difference. So if your model is in a dark area and you're using flash, you can still use your modeling light to help you focus. Go to the next page. This is your wireless transmitter selection. So this means it's sending out a signal. This means it's receiving a signal. And this means that it is disabled. Here is your transmitter status, so you choose your channel and your ID. You don't have to choose ID, but you definitely should use a channel, and that channel should match with the channel of the flash you're connecting to if you're using more than one flash. This is your flash trigger information, and here is all the main menus. So trigger distance. So I like to use 0 to 30 because if my flash is less than 1 meter away from the trigger, it may not flash. So if you're having trouble getting it to flash, if you're using this flash as a trigger or a receiver, you definitely want to make sure that if it's close, that you put it on 0 to 30. Next, we have your photo cell, and you can turn it on or off and choose S1 or S2. I'm not going to get into that too much in this video. TCM means converting your readings on the back of the flash from TTL converting to manual. TCM, TTL converts to manual. So I can set that up if you'd like. Okay, then we go to the menu. So now we go to the main menu, but if I go to manual, okay, go back to menu, you can see here that it converted to fractions of power. So it won't go higher than 1:1, but I typically just leave it in TTL for most of the situations. And if you're a beginner, TTL is the way to start. Even if you're taking this off camera, it's so simple, it'll automatically do TTL, which is through the lens metering. Okay, what else have we got in our menus? Of course, standby mode. You can put it on standby. I believe it stays on standby mode for several hours, like 7 hours or something. This is the auto off, 60 minutes. This is the screen standby, and I have it set for 2 minutes so that it doesn't go black on me, especially when I'm doing these demos. Screen brightness, self-explanatory. Boot up settings, again, self-explanatory. Language, factory reset, which I've had to use a few times. And device info, and this is your firmware version, and you can update your firmware, but you need the Godox firmware updating app to do that. I did try to check the firmware and download that app, but my computer would not let me. So I'm going to talk to Godox about that and see if there's something that I can do to get the app that updates the firmware. But right now, as of the time of this video, this is the latest firmware, 1.07. Of course, that will change in the future. And that's all there is to the basic menus of this flash. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did have some pain points with connecting this flash to this flash and using two of them. So you can use this flash as a trigger for this flash, and I got it set up a couple of times, but when it came to crunch time, like when I was in my shooting situation and shooting a portrait, I couldn't get it going again. I don't have enough, perhaps, muscle memory. I took notes, my notes did not work. So yeah, I need to work on that a bit more. Now, I sound like a real dummy, but back in the day, before LEDs, I had a studio, I had studio strobes, I used a light meter, I shot everything in manual, I had big umbrellas and soft boxes and all this stuff, and I had no problem. But somehow, speed lights and me, we just don't connect. So my recommendation, if you're new to flash or new to this flash, or just confused like I am about flash, pop it into TTL mode, and if you need to pull this off the camera, you can. Hold it up, hold your camera, boom, you've got an off-camera flash. You can also put it on the little stand that comes with it and attach it to a tripod or a light stand and have your flash in any position you want, farther away from your camera. If it's farther, then you want to hand hold it. So that would be my recommendation if you struggle with flash like I do. And eventually, we'll both get used to it.